Hey everyone, Lead Auditors, Compliance Pros, welcome to this explainer. Today we are tackling a massive, complex, and honestly an absolutely fascinating topic. We're going to navigate the highly fragmented, kind of Wild West world of global AI governance. Because look, as artificial intelligence fundamentally reshapes literally everything around us, organizations are scrambling to deploy it. But your job as auditors is to make sure they are doing it securely, ethically, and in total compliance with these brand new standards. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you manage all of this using the world's premier AI standard. Consider this your energetic mission briefing for today. We'll be looking at global AI governance variations, unifying with ISO 42001, the big trend of explainable AI, corporate AI ethics boards, and finally, visualizing and documenting trends. Let's get to it. Okay, let's dive right into this because this right here is the multi-million-dollar question keeping compliance officers up at night. How exactly do you audit an AI system that seamlessly crosses borders but is suddenly subjected to completely conflicting laws? It's a huge problem. AI absolutely does not care about geographic boundaries, but regulators, yeah, they definitely do.
All right, Part 1, Global AI Governance Variations.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing just how fractured the landscape is. The data and the algorithms might be global, but the rulebook? Not even close. We're seeing completely contrasting regulatory philosophies. On one hand, you've got the European Union leading the charge with the EU AI Act. This is a highly centralized, top-down approach, hyper-focused on strict risk classification tiers and protecting fundamental human rights. But then contrast that with the United States. They rely on the NIST guidelines. It's much more decentralized, agency-led, and leans heavily into transparency rather than a single sweeping national law. And then you look at China, actively rolling out specific AI guidelines that are tightly focused on data privacy, algorithmic security, and fairness. So, 3 massive global players and 3 entirely different core focuses.
Let's put this into a real-world auditing perspective for a second. Imagine you're auditing a U.S. financial institution that's using an AI model to check for credit scoring bias. Over there, you're dealing with a really decentralized, sector-specific landscape. You're probably looking at a crazy patchwork of state-level rules and specific financial regulations. Now shift your focus completely. You're now auditing a German healthcare provider tracking diagnostic AI. Over there, under the EU AI Act, you're dealing with highly centralized regulation, mandating very specific auditable trails based on whatever risk tier that system falls into. It's the exact same underlying technology, but entirely different audit trails.
So how do we solve this? That brings us to Section 2, unifying with ISO 42001. To cure this massive regulatory headache, you need a globally recognized framework. I like to think of ISO 42001 as your universal translator. It's an international standard providing a structured, universally accepted framework for an artificial intelligence management system, and AIMS. It doesn't matter if you're navigating the EU's strict risk tiers, the US's decentralized guidelines, or China's data security focus. ISO 42001 gives organizations a common language and a standardized governance structure to actually operate within.
So the crucial point here is this: auditing to this ISO standard ensures a baseline of compliance everywhere. By standardizing risk management, ethics, and transparency, an organization can build an AI system robust enough to satisfy a European data protection officer, a U.S. federal agency, and an Asian regulatory body all at once. It proves the company isn't just reacting to local, fragmented laws, but proactively managing AI risks on a truly global scale.
Let's look at what makes that possible. Section 3, Key Trend, Explainable AI. To maintain that global alignment, you've got to keep your eye on specific tech trends, and explainable AI, or XAI, is a huge one. It's exactly what it sounds like. Deep learning models are notorious for being these opaque black boxes, right? Data goes in, some kind of magic happens, an answer comes out, and frankly, half the time even the developers don't truly know why it gave that specific answer. Well, XAI is the technical tool that basically cracks open that black box, allowing an auditor to actually see the system's reasoning. It provides the exact transparency that ISO 42001 demands. To put that into perspective, take a European automotive company developing self-driving cars. To meet ISO 4200's strict safety and transparency rules, they might use rule-based machine learning right alongside their complex neural networks, specifically so they can explain autonomous driving decisions to human engineers and regulators. Or think about a Chinese e-commerce giant using explainability features so their customers know exactly why a certain product popped up in their recommendations. As an auditor, finding evidence of this XAI implementation is absolutely crucial. Moving right along, Section 4, Corporate AI Ethics Boards. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point, because technology alone just isn't enough. You need human governance to physically enforce those ISO 42001 ethical guidelines. And the shift we're seeing across the corporate world right now is just massive. Major tech companies are no longer leaving AI ethics to chance or just assuming the developers will handle it. They are institutionalizing ethics. A typical mandate for one of these corporate boards looks exactly like this, ensuring all AI products are fair, transparent, and aligned with societal values before deployment. They are literally the human fail-safe designed to stop algorithmic bias, protect privacy, and ensure societal good. When you're in the trenches conducting an ISO 42001 audit, these ethics boards are the people you are actually going to sit down with and interview. You have to verify their core functions. Are they actually establishing solid AI governance structures? Are they actively reviewing how algorithms are making decisions? Do they have the actual teeth to mitigate demographic and data bias? Are they overseeing continuous monitoring loops? And crucially, do they enforce fail-safes, like real human-in-the-loop processes for high-risk AI? Because if this board is just a corporate rubber stamp, trust me, the organization is not compliant. Okay, down to the micro level. Section 5, Visualizing and Documenting Trends. Let's step out of the boardroom and look at the exact tools on your desk. Knowing the law and the standard is great, but as a lead auditor, you've got to know how to properly document compliance. We're talking about SIEM systems, security information and event management for real-time log tracking of AI interactions. We're talking about spreadsheets in Tableau or Power BI to take all those raw logs and visualize the actual trends. And of course, audit management software like Teammate or MetricStream to officially lock in those nonconformities and trigger corrective actions. Let's move to see how this builds a complete picture. It's basically a 3-step daily life cycle for tracking a compliance trend. Step 1, you pull in that real-time event data and catch anomalies via those SIEM systems. Step 2, you extract it, crunch the numbers, and visualize emerging risks using spreadsheets or data platforms. And Step 3, the moment a trend points to a failure, you document that nonconformity in your audit software to kick off a corrective action plan. Look at this chart. Imagine this is popping up on your hypothetical SIEM dashboard. In January, you log 15 AI-related data leakage incidents. Okay, a few blips, but in February, it jumps to 25. By March, you're hitting 40. As an auditor, this rising trend screams that there is a systemic access control failure happening somewhere. You aren't just checking off incidents one by one, you're documenting a clear trend which absolutely forces the organization to find the root cause. Maybe it's a flawed training model just leaking underlying personal data. And it gets better because you can categorize the types of nonconformities you're uncovering. If your visualizations show that, say, 45% of your issues stem from algorithmic bias, 35% are data privacy breaches, and 20% are just a straight-up lack of explainability, well, you instantly know exactly where the organization's governance is falling apart. By visualizing these trends, you transform from an auditor who just reacts to past mistakes into someone who proactively forecasts and mitigates future risks, way before they turn into some massive regulatory fine. So what does this all mean? I want to leave you with a provocative thought. AI is evolving at breakneck speed, and honestly, the global regulatory landscape is struggling just to catch its breath. But as an ISO 42001 lead auditor, you are the bridge. You connect cutting-edge innovation with responsible, ethical governance. So ask yourself, are your AI audits merely reacting to what went wrong yesterday? Or are you utilizing global trends, explainable AI, and powerful data visualization to forecast the risks of tomorrow? If you master these trends, you'll guarantee your organization's AI isn't just innovative, it's trustworthy. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep pushing for clarity in the wild world of AI.